John Kerronian.
And this is Ken, and we are here at Docking Bay Comics with our special guest,
Keith. Hi.
and today we'll be talking about
Thundercats.
Oh!
Oh!
Why we're talking about that? Mainly because, well, it's really
good.
Really good. Surprisingly good. If you can remember, Thundercats was a 1980s cartoon, which was kind of inspired by He-Man, but the opening theme
Song was awesome.
Epic.
And for a newbie, because then you really didn't watch the original Thundercats, but when you saw a few clips of it. And
I knew about it. I knew like the cultural impact of the series, but I never gave it the time of day. And then because of this, I'm excited about the entire franchise. This is from the old series, right?
Yeah, this is from the original series. Well, this is a remake.
When Trunks and everything was all that in a bag
This
of
is a
chips.
remake.
You didn't have a show unless you had somebody in underwear. I mean, that's
it
exactly
is
what
like it is kind of reminds me of like, oh shoot, Goku. I'm sorry.
Took his arm off.
Yeah, it's the plastic kind of flimsy. Bandai needs to work on that. When Cartoon Network did the trailer for Thundercats, it really reminded me of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, which why I wanted to.
It was
bring.
just quality work though. I mean, just even the beginning. I mean,
Yeah,
when you saw the previews for it, was really quality work. And the first time I heard about it was like I think last year. I think was it in November. I heard it in November, and I was like, okay. I thought it was just gonna be something that they said they can come out with, but don't actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
So when it really came out, I kind of missed the entire first month of it coming out because I was really, this can be real.
Wasn't there a Voltron recently that they tried to do like a...
they tried to do
Nickelodeon? Was it on Nickelodeon?
Yeah, Nickelodeon. They tried to do it. They tried to do Voltron earlier in the 90s too, or early 2000s. They tried to do like a CGI one, but they didn't get the characters right. And in this one, Nickelodeon, I heard it was good. I don't know if it was you who said that the Voltron show, the new Voltron show, was pretty good, but the animation of the characters weren't that good. But the CGI for the Voltron was really cool.
Well, if it wasn't for you, I would not have... I would have thought this is in the same vein of people trying to make a quick buck using an old idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, those things just, I leave it alone because it makes me, I don't want it to ruin my childhood, but if it wasn't for your...
Like Michael Bay.
For you saying, like, watch this, I would not have given this the time of day. And I mean, now it's like my favorite show on... My favorite animated show on TV.
I think Thundercats probably be the worst thing for you to come out with trying to make a buck on, because then again it's just so... it's kind of like what they did with Conan, to remake the doggone thing. I mean, you can't... Arnold Schwarzenegger is so epic.
Yeah,
you can't really
some things you can't
make it back over. It's kind of like me saying, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and be epic and do a Star Wars all over again. That's kind of crazy. That would never happen, So with Thundercats, you really had to come... You had to come... Huh?
Oh, wait, he forgets episode 1, 2, and 3.
Those never existed, right?
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, my bad, But when you think about it, you just can't come up with Thundercats and use that as a way to make a quick buck. It just has to be epic, So I'm impressed with it.
They spent
beyond
a lot
impressed
of time.
with it, actually.
I know there was actually it talks of a movie at first, a CGI movie. There was actually a trailer. You can actually look it up on YouTube, and it has it was a kind of like a Avatar, not the Last Airbender, but the blue Avatar.
Right.
Yeah, and it had that feel to it. Yes. And they kind of scrapped that. I saw the trailer. I liked it.
I didn't see
and
that.
then they scrapped that to do with the animated style, and they gave depth to the world,
characters, yeah.
the characters. It's not all just about Lionel. The other characters.
And we saw that specifically in the last episode when they all kind of stepped up.
Was it episode 7?
Yeah.
Episode 7 was definitely that.
Right.
We haven't seen the new
We
one.
haven't seen the 8th episode.
Well, we're not going to the new one, so. But
each of the episodes are really well done. Even when I remember about the characters that I didn't like in the old show, Snarf.
Snarf is like Pikachu, though. He reminds me of Pikachu, though.
Yeah, now she's likable. They basically took what they. I felt like fans made the show, and it really hits me because something what I want to do. I wanted to do on is one of my favorite TV shows, and make it. But Thundercats beat me to it, which is why when people ask me about Thundercats, what do you think? I'm like, I have a love-hate because like I love it, but like I hate that they beat me first. I wasn't necessarily gonna do Thundercats, but I'm glad they did do Thundercats because it showed me that what I had in mind can work and gives me hope that I will work hard.
As our age group becomes, the consumers, I mean, they're going to bank on that nostalgia aspect, and again, as long as they don't butcher it, because like Voltron, I mean, I never really watched it, but a series that isn't any good, I'm not going to latch on then. If anything, I'm going to
just like they tried to do Speed Racer.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love the live action. The live action, I don't think it did that well in the box office, but from everyone who's seen it, they
I thought it was great.
It was rich with color.
It was eye candy.
It was really, everything looked like was a bunch of like a candy shop. That's what everything looked like to me. I mean, I'll be honest. I personally thought it was a little too much because I was thinking that they were going to put in the realm of reality a little bit, but it was a little.
It was like watching.
But it wasn't bad. But it was really like watching a live cartoon, which was weird because I didn't see. But they pulled it off. That's the whole thing. They pulled it off. I'm surprised they really. I don't think it did super well, but
I own the DVD.
It's the Wachowski brothers.
You own
So
the DVD.
You got Matrix, V for Vendetta. I mean, those are two of my most favorite movies.
V for Vendetta was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I don't think it was quite up to that, but I still liked it.
It's enjoyable. Like I'd watch it right now.
Yeah.
It's like I'd watch Thundercats right now, and I'm surprised. I want to watch Thundercats, but like they put the effort in, they had fun with it, and they're went with.
They're just doing the thing.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Like, what was your favorite episode
So far.
so far?
You know what? Probably the last one because it was
Yes.
really cool to see Mum-Ra power up.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought that was.
I was like, it's this giant alien size mode.
It was kind of cool, like where he had with the glove, and the entire thing with the episode.
Oh, that
7.
was very Infinity Gauntlet.
That was
fans.
that was really cool. And another thing I liked too was not that particular episode, but one was I think episode 4 with the tree people.
Yes.
That one was deep.
Yes.
That was like that told me that was a true
my
story.
gosh.
That was like when you really show character development from how they developed those little characters. It was awesome because it was like I was thinking, okay, they can be in a forest and
The Leafers or something?
Yeah,
I
the
forget.
Leafers or whatever they call them. And I thought it was gonna be like, okay, you have these characters, they can follow them, and it's gonna be the end of it. That's what it's gonna be, right?
That was strangely epic. Like, I knew where they were going that entire episode, but by the end of it, I'm like, I'm so glad they took me there.
But
That
I was like,
so nice.
I'll be honest, I'm not a person that gets sad too much, but I was talking about this episode for like 2 days after that because I was like, man, it was like that's what relating to the audience is all about, taking you somewhere where you didn't expect to go, and that was what was awesome about the show.
Each of the episodes has like substance. Has a lot of substance that like you can relate to, and I know like when I watch TV shows now, a lot of the cartoons like they don't have that 80s.
It's just goofy
mentality, like where like teamwork,
Good and evil.
No, even like with the good and evil, like they're all gray spots and not evil, like taking care of the world, Captain Planet, like G.I. Joe and all that. I felt like they kind of lost it in recent years, but now it's like kind of slowly.
And then you get things like Avatar and this, and
Avatar,
there's hope.
Yes, and like even like strong female presence, not just like.
That's actually my favorite character so far, Chitara, and I'll tell you why, because it was kind of cool how they introduced her in the entire series as a cleric.
Right.
That was awesome because I was like, okay, it explains why she's kind of so fast. A lot of things explained. It was like
I didn't understand when in the last episode, in episode 7, when he did the whole
sword?
when he called them, and she's the only one. Her eye. You know what? She seemed to power up in some form, and none of the others did. And I don't understand the series, so maybe that's why I don't know.
I think she had the ability that was needed at the time.
In tune with the.
She was in tune with the sword too, because you gotta remember that's what they pretty much was watching out for that book. In the first episode, you saw his father with this gauntlet, and then they don't know anything about technology. And I was like, what the heck? That's technology right there. What you have on your arm.
They saw it as magic.
but that's what it is. They saw it as
That's
magic.
hot.
Yes.
That was
That's
cool.
hot.
You know, and later on in episode 7, that's when they explained all that, which was so
Right.
cool because at first I was like, okay, don't confuse me, guys.
Even though I have more questions.
Even though I have more questions here, don't confuse me until they explained all that. I was like, wow, you know what? I think we have a winner here.
Another thing that why this is so appealing is they kind of make it's timeless.
Yes.
And certain like certain things why there's a particular brand and something that's dear to my heart, Power Rangers.
Wait,
I'm
what?
just bringing out
Power
Power
Rangers.
who's?
Power Rangers. The reason why they, in my opinion, they've been failing is because they haven't found that they always keep on marketing for kids, and you can't do that. I tried telling them.
You gotta grow with the
repeatedly,
audience.
and you have to respect the audience, yet still being. And Thundercats is a perfect example that they nailed it. They nailed it. They bring new people in, bring old people, and anyone in, and enjoy and have just a good solid series.
I think what it is too, they really don't give kids credit too. Because
Yeah.
even kids know when something's corny.
Yeah,
crappy.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
eventually kids can be like, well,
Yeah.
because then kids aren't the same that they are now as back in the 80s. I mean, now
I've got
we
little
actually
sisters.
we exposed to so much, so you can't really throw Power Rangers there and just have it the same. You kind of have to upgrade a little bit. The same thing what they did with Ninja Turtles, you know, when they did it back in the 90s, how they kind of revamped it and made it even more hardcore.
Right.
Because you couldn't
But
do
you
it
can
like how
overdo
back,
it
you know?
sometimes.
You
You gotta
overdo
find
it.
a perfect balance, and Thundercats is
When you had a fifth turtle
Yeah,
Venus
turtle
and its sister
the sister.
with mystical powers,
There's a
you
problem.
have lost me. I have fallen off.
How about a few indie books? Because we always like to do a session about like books that I feel need to get additional attention. The first book I want to bring to attention is Haunted City, and it's roughly a story about the biggest haunted house, which happens to be in New York. Because you think about migration, a lot of people who immigrate to New York, they didn't just bring themselves; they brought a lot of their belief systems with them. And this kind of goes into that, which Zero, which was a good introduction to it. So I thought that was pretty good. In addition, I just love when you go to like independents. Like this right here is called Damaged. And what really drew my attention initially was just the pose, the image on the page. But then I said, okay, Damaged. It's kind of like a cool title for a story. What would it be all about? And what was awesome about it is that it's about two brothers, relative that went two different directions, all in law. But it was like really cool. It's almost like a Punisher type of series, but the story's rich. So I think that's something I definitely want to look at. So this was something I was introduced to actually by a previous customer that came in the store. And was telling me about, hey, you just got to see The Boys. And I was like, well, okay, I've seen it a few times, but I wasn't really thinking about getting it. When I read it, it was kind of cool because the entire series is predicated on the greatest weapon being not a person or a thing, but superpower itself, which was kind of cool because now you have like thousands and thousands of superheroes, and it's like a love-hate relationship, but the public still loves them. But you have to regulate that, and they actually have a group that regulates all that. If you need to beat the crap out of somebody,
mature,
exactly,
graphic
beat the
one.
crap out of
It's
somebody,
like-
you have to beat the crap
like
out of them.
Heroes in in set in more realistic world.
Realistic world. So I mean, this was cool too. Plus you have the guy who plays Shaun of the Dead is actually one of the characters here, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another one was
really good cover here.
Turf. This one was like a surprise too. I mean, this is what really grabbed my attention. Of course, was the cover. I read up a little bit on Jonathan Ross, and he's from England, and Tommy Lee. And what was really cool was the premise of it was about vampires, but included the Prohibition era. That's a really cool era because you had pretty much America coming into its own. Plus, you had vampires, mobsters, and something that I thought would never really work: aliens. It was really good artwork. I mean, it really fits the tone of the story. You could tell they did some research on this stuff too, because it's just like right on, spot on. There's a lot of things that were going on back in that time.
The lighting in that looks really distinct.
Yeah,
I
the
love
lighting.
the lighting in those.
But this right here was a surprise for me. I'll tell you why. Because art tends to grab your attention when you look at a book. And this right here, when I first saw it, okay, this is what grabbed my attention. The mascot on the page. But the story itself was like really good. The story was about spontaneous human combustion and how they explain it. The art itself, when you look at the art, it really didn't grab my attention right away until I really started reading the book, and then you really realize how much it really fits into the entire premise of the story. It actually looks like at any moment the page is about to catch on fire, which was, you know, just really good story. So that's something you want to check out.
And finally, we have Lady Mechanica, which is amazing, really good.
Just really
Yeah,
good story.
yeah.
And actually, I think the store, Jess actually introduced me to this.
Yes,
actually.
likewise.
She really introduced me to this book, and really what caught my attention initially was the figure, of course.
The art is very intricate.
Very intricate.
Love the steam.
Love the eyes. I mean, it's hard, but I just love the eyes on the character. And when you look at the inside of the book, like, you know, it's really
Very rich, and it kind of has a Michael Turner-ish design,
Yeah.
like inspired artwork. And
steampunk.
Yes,
big time. You know,
stuff.
that's become like the major thing now. I mean, I've seen a lot of
It's
that.
coming up. Yeah.
And it just, you
Very-
know, great layout, great
yes.
story. In the first issue, she's kind of trying to discover who she really is. I mean, I know that's kind of been done to death, but the way he's telling the story actually makes you want to figure
Good
out yourself.
action, good pacing.
You want to know exactly, you know, who this person is, because for one thing, she's not, as you can tell, she's probably not human. So you want to figure out how
Don't
she.
spoil it.
Okay, well, all right.
You can find
That's
it out
it.
in your local
Yeah.
comic book store. It's
Yeah.
all here.
All here,
Bay
Document
Comics in Boca.
But that's pretty much it. I mean, there was just some good stories, and I was, you know, happy that I was introduced to them. Now, you know, that's more money coming out of my pocket, but hey, it's worth it.
I'll pick that out of all those. I'll pick that one up first.
And
Good
I
one
did
first,
pick this
yeah.
one, yeah.
And you did pick this one
Yeah,
first.
I just picked it up.
I
So
mean,
the DC relaunch has been putting like a bad taste in my mouth, but I think across the board people have been kind of, I don't know anyone who's been really excited about it. But I did read the first issue, and I'm certainly a Marvel fan before I am DC, but the big heroes, you know, Green Lantern, Batman, Superman, you know, of course I'm into them. And it opens up with Batman. Green Lantern comes in, and without revealing anything too much, I liked it. I thought it was the characters were really individual. Yes, they were kind of retooled a little bit, but kind of made
It adds to it, yeah. Like
be
I
more who
actually
they are.
enjoyed Hal Jordan more, and it gives it like it's explained that when Batman's you're in my city, well you're in my sector,
right.
So that was really cool.
So yeah, it's cool to see the dynamic evolving between the heroes early on, and then the art was really cool. There's a particle effect done with the lights that is really neat, and it ended with Superman coming on the scene all of a sudden, and it was actually a good comic. Like I haven't read any of the other launches, any of the new relaunch, but it
Okay.
was like
It was
an
good.
8, a solid 8.
Yeah, I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. But speaking of Superman, we have a special guest on speakerphone.
I know you have a lot of things to say in regards to that. I remember the last conversation. I know you had some things that, you know, I think was timely in regards to 9/11.
And on today, where we all experience the loss and the pain, and we all went through that day. I think it's important to, you know, remember what good came out of that, and how we did come together as a group of people, and how in the face of evil, cowardice, and just villainous nature, and what's more villainous than what happened in 9/11, and the good that is in comics is to stand up against that. Where you're the Batman character who was saw tragedy as a child and decided he wanted to stop it from ever happening again, or the Superman character who, you know, originally stood for truth, justice, and there's also a very real connection with those colors to, you know, what America's about, what it's supposed to be about, and what we as a people from, you know, wherever we came from before. Because, you know, that doesn't really matter. None of us were natives to this country. Our ancestors, none of them were. We all came from somewhere else.
Yes.
But the fact that what makes this country great is that we can all be here. We can all believe what we want to believe, have faith in what we want to have faith in. We can all, you know, celebrate and practice whatever we want, as long as we're not causing any kind of pain or persecution of another person or another race or another color or another creed or another sexual orientation or another background or anything else. And that's what America's supposed to be about. And that's what we as a people are supposed to live up to as an example to the rest of the world, but also as an example to our children. DC is, they're revamping their universe. They're starting over. People say, oh, well, you're forgetting about the past, and you're throwing all that away just to start fresh, to, you know, pull in new viewers or new readers. And that is definitely a point of it. You know, but you know, that's necessary sometimes. But, at the same time, and they're not going to forget those characters that we've all been reading about for years. You know you're going to see them all again, and maybe you'll get a fresh story that you never read before. So whereas you might be kind of biased against it, give it a chance. Because you might find something new that you never saw before. And it might give you the opportunity to expand your way of thinking, or expand your readership, or expand what you didn't think you liked before. And that's just one more thing that America's all about. You have the opportunity to do whatever you want to do.
You made a really good point about Superman not necessarily being synonymous with the United States. I mean, I think it was only a few months ago where there was that big controversy that he revoked his American citizenship.
What?
And that, I mean, I remember that was in the media. That was a big deal. I mean, people from certain political.
Wait, when did that?
Yeah, like issue 100 or issue 1000?
No. I remember exactly when that happened. It was a media thing.
It was a big deal.
I thought about it. It bothered me at first, and then I thought about how Superman has become a worldwide character at this point.
Oh, we are becoming a worldwide community.
We're all global now. Pretty much.
Global.
Exactly. I mean, Superman is bigger than that.
He's not belonging to any particular country.
I don't think he should have. I don't think that the character or the writing should have said, well, I revoked my American citizenship. I think it should have been more along the lines of the same ideals that make the country of America great are the things that I've always stood for. And those are, truth, justice, freedom, honor, just empathy for your fellow man.
It's the same thing America stands for.
That should be universal. That shouldn't be just America's to hold on to.
An ideal world to live with.
Those are the things that we apply to our country and ourselves as a people. And I'm all for spreading that around the world because, that'll just make this whole world a better place.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Cheers.
Yes, thank you. And on that note, that'll finish us up on our episode at Docking Bay Comics here.
As always, we enjoy having you guys, and check out the site.
Please let us know.
Keep posted.
God, you're strong. This whole table shakes when
I
you.
know, right?
Please let us know what you guys think when you do get to see this. When this does air at one point,
We're good.
we're still
relevant by that point.
We are still learning as we go, and so we're open to opinions, and that's how we grow as a person and everything. And Ron, Ken, peace out.
Peace out.